I'd like to call to order the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting. Today's Wednesday, July 13th, 2016. The time is 7 o'clock. Please pay respects to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please note the roll.
Noted.
Let's do approval of the agenda. I do believe we're taking one thing off, Curtis.
That's correct. We're taking off item 9B, fire union grievances with letter of understanding.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
I have a comment before we go through all this. I would like to add something to the agenda, being the Elkview grant expense wetland survey for the 103 acres out at the Elkview property. Last month, we had a 3-3 vote
He voted.
because the full
He
board,
voted for it.
the full board wasn't here. Now that we do have a full board, I would like to have a vote on that again, so we have the full board's input as to what we'd really like to do.
The one member, Sue, do you feel?
Should we consider the motion?
Well, I wish it would have been on the agenda, because I really
that's what I would have
looked over any of that stuff.
I'm going to vote no because it wasn't on the agenda. Sue had no idea about it until
I didn't get to
right
look it
now.
over, Buck.
And she hasn't,
That was my fault.
But
She
can we
has
put it in
no-
August? Would August be okay?
Yeah, that was,
Oh, you okay with August?
it's just unfair to Sue.
yeah, okay, I agree
Curtis
100%.
will put it on in August.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Did Mr. Curtis support the motion?
Yep.
Yes, he did. It was supported. Public comment. Well, wait,
Consent agenda.
let's do the consent agenda. Questions or concerns on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Roll call?
Trustee Kreiderman.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Bel Ayers.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
And Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Public comment on items not on the agenda. Yes. Before, it looks like a lot of people are here for one issue. Could I ask you to please try to limit it to 3 minutes per person?
Well, I'm also speaking for a number of people, so
Oh, are
I'll
you?
be brief, might be 4 minutes.
Okay.
So, anyway, I'm,
Please state your name for the record and your address, please.
Okay. Bruce Myers, 3100 Delano.
Okay.
I would like to address the property on the southwest corner of Barber and Davison Lake Road, known previously as Hunter's Ridge. As I get into this, I'd like to, first of all, go into excerpts from the Oxford Master Plan. And under classifications, they have agriculture. This classification is applied to all land uses used for crops and permanent pasture land. In addition to these, however, the group also includes such agricultural activities as horse breeding, farms, greenhouses, and similar types of specialized activities. And on the other hand, we have single-family, which is classified as those areas, single-family dwelling units and accessory structures known as R1 through R3. And for the guiding factors for this area, this address, the old Hunter's Ridge, basically the guiding factors are maintenance of outlying rural and agricultural areas, equestrian living, and productive agricultural farmland. And it's long-lived in the Charter Township of Oxford, particularly in association with the historic Metamora Hunt. Because of the important contribution made by the equestrian agricultural lifestyle to the overall character of the township, it's imperative that these areas be preserved and protected from encroachment by development of incompatible density or incompatible use. So this area was planned on the master plan for the Hunt Country agricultural use. The Hunt Country agricultural designation seeks to preserve the agricultural and equestrian character of the areas of the northeastern quadrant of the township, where pleasure riding, horse raising, and related farming activities continue in association with the historic Metamora Hunt. The character of these areas is typified by large tracts of land, fenced pastures, productive farmland, and riding trails. Development within the Hunt Country Agricultural designation is intended to preserve the open expanse of pasture and the preservation of farmland. Keeping that in mind, as we go to Ordinance 67, the definition within the ordinance of a child foster care facility is a state licensed establishment that provides foster care to minor children. And the following additional definitions shall apply with the application of the ordinance. Basically, a child foster care home is a private home in which one, but not more than 4 minor children who are not related to the adult basically live there. A child foster care group home is a private home in which more than 4, but fewer than 7 minor children who are not related to an adult member of the household are provided care 24 hours a day for 4 or more days a week. There's a little problem with Ordinance 67, and these other definitions are exactly what is on the state law. However, Ordinance 67 misses one definition from the state law, which is what is a child caring institution. And based on Act number 116 of the Public Acts of 1973, child caring institution is defined as a child care facility which is organized for the purpose of receiving minor children for care, maintenance, and supervision, usually on a 24-hour basis in buildings maintained by the institution for that purpose and operates throughout the year. So the agricultural district does not allow for any forms of group homes in the district and is not a listed permitted or special use. Whereas in R1, R2, and R3 districts, they list adult foster care group homes as a special use. So per the state licensing requirements, any facility that cares for foster children in a non-private home that's owned by an institution, a charity, or an entity is considered a child care institution, and therefore is subject to control of all local ordinance. Keeping that in mind, we have R1, R2, and R3 zoning district that allow for any form of residential group home. That's not agriculture. The questions I have is, what zoning districts allow for child care institutions within our township? And keeping that in mind, what is the listed, permitted, or special use that grants that? If a child care institution is not listed as a permitted or special use in any zoning district in Oxford, who determines what district the use should be allowed? And by what method, ordinance, law, or procedure is the definition? Accessory buildings, structures, or uses that are customarily incidental to those uses listed determined. So if any of this has already been addressed for this property, basically, has anybody told the new property owner any of this information? And if so, what was told, when was it told, by whom, and by what method? So we need to know what information has already been conveyed regarding the southwest corner of Barber and Davison Lake Road, previously known as Hunter's Ridge.
Thank you.
Did I make 4 minutes?
Close enough. Just turn that over to the clerk, please. Right here, right here.
Okay.
Barb?
My comments are very brief. My name is Barbara Blahnik. I'm a resident of the township residing at 3601 Barber Road. I'm here this evening as one of the many concerned citizens who wish to make our voices heard, to say we are not in favor of the development plans of the House of Providence, who recently purchased property at 3921 Barber Road. The House of Providence plans are well known. The Oxford Leader, in his July 6 and July 13 editions, presented 2 cover stories of the House of Providence plans. In addition, There's an abundance of information of their plans posted on their website, Facebook, and YouTube interviews. All of these public postings describe an unusual usage for their property that is not consistent with the existing neighborhood or the township master plan, ordinances, or zoning law. To be kept advised of any future activity or developments of this property, I sent in a request to Mr. Curtis Wright. Mr. Wright has already kindly acknowledged my request and has processed it with the appropriate township officials. I want to thank Mr. Wright for his prompt and courteous assistance. In closing, I am speaking tonight because I felt it was necessary to inform township officials in the most timely manner possible of the House of Providence development plans and to go on record to say that I, along with many neighbors and residents, are very concerned. We are not in favor of the House of Providence proposed plans. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir?
Hi, my name is Jim Eunice, and my wife Donna. We live at 3575 Gardner Road, Oxford. We are right behind the property that Providence just bought. I would like to address the Oxford Leader July 6th and 13th articles on the upcoming zone changes. From agriculture to special land use, as we understand the site that the Providence has. That's on the corner of Davis and Lake Road. This is completely against the current neighborhood status of horse farms, agriculture, and single-family homes. The change request, if enacted, will bring health and safety issues, plus more police patrols, which means taxpayer costs throughout the township and lower land values. Walkers, joggers, bicyclers, and horse riders will encounter issues related to Providence. We have a lot of walkers and joggers, etc., every morning throughout the week, 7 days a week. They go right by our house. The Providence compound will ultimately lead to a very high perimeter fence to retain the occupants 24/7. So Oxford Township and Metamora Township will have a juvenile prison, which will decrease our land values. Nonprofits such as Providence pay zero land taxes, but increase township costs to the taxpayers. Providence will receive very generous monthly payments from Michigan and the federal government per occupant. In conclusion, we are asking the upcoming request for special land use change at 3921 Barber Road by Providence be completely denied and retain the current agriculture status. Thank you. One thing, Bill, you and your team, I want to congratulate you on a balanced budget, as we know it, for the township. Only one more thing. Please keep the Parks and Recreation in control on the expenditures. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to talk on this subject? Yes, sir.
I can yield if you'd like to take care of it. It'll be a little bit long, not long, but
I'm not going to let you be real long.
it's not real long.
Just,
I mean,
well, the only reason I would like to is we have a presentation. We have some kids here.
yeah.
If people don't mind, could we just the board up to that? Why don't you just sit down and I promise we'll get right back to you. Let's move on to this next one so we can get these people out of here. I don't mean it that way. Just yes, sir. We're going to come right back to it. Okay, I promise. Let's do the shift captain recommendation, Chief.
Board, as you're aware, we've had an open shift captain position for quite a while, and we've gone through the testing process to complete that. It was posted. We had 3 applicants apply for it. They took the written test. I had 1 applicant that did pass the test. It's BJ Stapp. He's been with the Oxford Fire Department since November of 2006. He's a firefighter paramedic. He's a state licensed advanced EMS instructor. He's an ACLS instructor. He's the coordinator of our dive team, and he's also responsible for the maintenance of our department's SCBA air packs and our Cascade system. It's with that I recommend that BJ Stapp for the promotion of shift captain effective immediately.
Any questions from the board? Would there be a motion?
I move to promote Benjamin Stapp to shift captain from shift sergeant, the Oxford Fire Department, effective 12:01 a.m., July 14th, 2016, at a wage as determined under the promotion section D, Appendix A, wages of the labor agreement between the Township of Oxford, Oakland County, Michigan, and the Oxford Firefighters Union, International Association of Firefighters, Local 4763.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Are we planning on taking a couple of photos? What's that?
Technical error, we're going to do that tomorrow morning.
Okay, but we'll go ahead with the,
Is that BJ with his badge?
Congratulations, BJ.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, BJ.
Congratulations.
if we could, I know you guys are probably interested in going out and congratulating. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to maybe move out there if you'd like. You're welcome back. You're welcome back.
That's pretty quick.
Thank you for yielding. There's a couple small children there who get a little antsy. They last a lot better than my grandchild. She had about. Okay, folks, we're back in order. I told this gentleman you're going to yield.
You can go ahead and talk. No, go ahead, you're on the stand.
Oh, don't argue.
Larry Rosner. I live at 1830 Cobblestone Lane.
Say that, please.
And I'm not going to repeat all the agricultural things that previous people have said, but just want to give you an example of current agriculture. I've had 21 cows come strolling down my road and through the neighborhood from one of the local farms, and we merely gather them up, put them in another person's pasture till the owner could come and get them. It was just here a couple days ago, there was horses that were loose. You know, people caught them, they put them back in the property that they belonged on. So we're a very small knit area out there, and we pretty much all know each other. If something gets loose, if somebody needs something animal-wise, it gets taken care of. We don't have to call the city, the fire department, we'll catch them and put them back. This morning, I looked out the kitchen window, there's 2 hens with about over 15 little turkeys wandering around. So it is agriculture. I believe in this general area, there's more horses and cows than there are people. The population is such. The other thing, the roads. There's 2 scenic roads that are right there. They're within a mile of my house. Those roads, and they're right in line with this property, you can't get 2 cars in motion in a lot of places. Someone has to pull off. So there's a traffic issue, and we all know how to drive. I mean, you know, the smaller car, tries to pull off, the big pickup truck goes by, because if they, they can brush the brush a little bit and so forth. So this is not an area for high density, a lot of people moving around in it. So much said for that. It's definitely rural, and, if you don't, living there, I moved here some years back, and I've been before the border a number of times. This is the planning. This is what we're supposed to be following. And it doesn't happen. I've been before the board, and the board that's one thing. That's not my issue. We have a planner that is my issue. I mean, Brian Opperman, he likes developers far better than any of us. And the planning, the zoning says it. So if someone is spending $800,000 for some property and they haven't looked into it, seems strange to me, but that's just me. So it's my opinion that our planner that we have, he's come up with, gee, a 1 acre lot is almost as good as 5, so we can rezone. I really believe that we have to stick with this plan and not be led down the path by someone with a lot of good things saying the right words, because we'll live to regret it. And you can't change it once it's done. It's inevitable. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll get you right after this gentleman right here.
I just heard thunder. I rode my motorcycle, so I might have to talk.
You may
a
have
little
to sit
bit
through this whole meeting.
Okay. My name is Ken LaPlace. I'm from Ortonville, Michigan. My address is 1785 Hidden Lake Trail. And I own a production company called PBN TV, which I've had since 1979. We make sort of low-end movies for the Sci-Fi Channel the last couple of years, and make movies and programming for PBS, and we also do corporate work. Now, the reason I'm here is I'd like to throw out an option, and an option that would offer you the same sort of benefits that your current public access television offers you now. The reason for this is I think we can offer you a better service, certainly. We can bring you into the digital age. I notice that there aren't any cameras set up here for live streaming and things of that nature, which I think are very important, especially in cable today. And we can also offer you a good savings. I would simply say if you were willing to privatize a small portion of the contribution that you give to Oxford Community Television, you could return the balance of that back to the community and put it to additional work and get the same amount of service. Public access television, and this is sort of like bad news, but the truth is public access television today is pretty much dead. It's not an entity that offers any kind of benefit to the community anymore because there's no longer community involvement. You don't have community support. You don't have people coming through the door asking for help, classes, and checking things out. And it has, unfortunately, no audience. There's nobody watching in real numbers public access television anymore. So you have to take a look at what your investment in that is. And I used to be the general manager back in 2012. And I can tell you that I never saw a single person come through the door, and we had no numbers. So I was asking myself at the time, what are we doing here, and why are we spending so much money? My budget was $286,000, and I'm sure it's higher now. Plus, I had an additional $500,000. And I was, at the end of the day, I created a Facebook account, and I also created a YouTube account, and at the end of the day, we were posting YouTube videos. Now, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube is free. Facebook is free. So if you're using YouTube and booting everything up to the internet, then you have to ask yourself, why are we having public access television?
Ken, can I have you kind of start wrapping things up here, please?
Okay.
I mean, I can't enforce a 3-minute limit. I try not to, but just try to speed it up if you would, please.
Okay.
It's not funny.
No, it isn't. Public access television has no mandates on it. A lot of people think that they have to abide by the PEG rules, that you need to provide public education and government coverage. You don't. That rule went away back in 1984 under the 1984 Cable Act. So, since I'm getting cut short, I'm reaching out to you to consider two things. One, take a good look at your initial investment and ask if that's something that you feel is fair to yourselves and fair to the community. It's a lot of money that's going over there, and ask yourself what's being done with it, who's doing things with it, and is it something that's necessary? And if you'd like to seek an option, I'd like to be able to come back and be invited onto the agenda, and I will offer you a formal presentation so that you can make a better informed decision. Thank you.
Thank you. No, we're the one who would, because we control the money. Yes, sir. Thank everybody for being patient and allowing the other group to come up.
My name is Bill Goldsmith, and my home is at 2650 Davison Lake Road in Oxford. I'm speaking for myself, but I think I'm speaking for most of the other people in the Hunters Ridge Hunt Club contiguous community, that we love children. We all have children or grandchildren. This is not about children. This is about the consistency of the neighborhood. This plan that we've heard about seems to be more suited for a commercial operation as opposed to a residential, agricultural, single-family, horse-related community. So I want to make it very clear that everyone that I know that is involved in this concerned effort give a lot of money to charities, love children, support children's facilities, and it's really about the consistency of the neighborhood and not about children. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Ginny Benson. I live at 3270 Barber Road. I'm the horse farm, kind of kitty corner across the street from this planned development. And I agree with everybody that's spoken about, why we shouldn't have it there. But also I'm concerned about the tax situation we've lost because it's a charity and nonprofit, supposedly. We've lost over $19,000 a year in taxes so far. With all these children, we're going to be supporting them in schools. And apparently they're planning on doing it all from OVA. And if they don't have their own laptops, which I'm sure most of these kids don't, our school system supplies them. And we don't have internet available in our area. So the school also provides internet, and I personally can tell you it's expensive in our area to supply that kind of internet to all these kids and all the laptops. I'm also concerned about the roads. I don't know how many times I've gone out and pulled out with my tractors the people that the county has sent out to plow my road because they're stuck in the middle of snowdrifts. So is that going to cost us more money to give them access and have special, road use for them? We have to consider a lot of things that this development is going to entail, a lot of extra costs to us as a community to allow them to be there, not to mention all the other reasons that it is not in character with our community. And I'll agree with them about the use to our roads not having, all the traffic, I go out with my manure spreader and I rent a field across the street, and my dog and I hop on the tractor and run over there every day, and very rarely do I even meet one car as I'm going back and forth across the road. With a development like that, the traffic increase would be huge. And I pay almost over a quarter mile, almost a half a mile of road chloride on that street just to keep the dust down. Is the township then going to cover that, or, am I going to be paying for their use too? There's a lot of costs involved. I know they haven't asked for permits yet, but it concerns me that they came to the township and that they asked our planner and apparently your assistant, Mr. Dunn's assistant, about coming here, and they were told that it's not going to be a problem for them to be here, otherwise they wouldn't have closed on the property. Apparently the initial feeling from Mr. Opperman was that there was going to be no problem and no special use or zoning needed for this community. It concerns me that we're not involved in it, and that they were told that there's not going to be a problem. I guess I'll shut it down, but please consider that when they do ask for any kind of permits, because the neighborhood doesn't want them there.
Anyone else? Yes. I know who you are. Come on up, Nancy.
I have a friend, Dr. Carol Carter, who lives in a condominium that's quite close to Somerset. First, they had a wave of Chinese children come in to learn English, and she said she didn't know how much English they learned because they stuck with themselves, but they were well behaved. Then they had inner city kids come in. They escaped from their homes through the windows overnight, rampaged through the neighborhood, stabbing car tires, breaking windows, dumping over garbage, splashing paint around on different houses. She felt lucky that hers hadn't been hit yet. They did a lot of damage, and they were uncontrollable and could not be educated. And they're still there, rampaging around, and not doing the community any good. And of course, the people that have them in their homes are being paid handsomely by the state for it, and that's what would happen here too. And I don't have any hopes that the children that come from the inner city out here would be any better behaved. That's it.
Thank you. Seeing no more, move on to water rate increase. Oh, sorry, the site kind of. Is the presenter here or the petitioner? Come on up.
Good evening, my name is Pat McWilliams from Keefton
I'm
Engineering.
gonna hold you up just for a second.
All right.
Let the people who want to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. That cleared them right out. The Great Migration. Thank you. Back in session.
Good evening. My name is Pat McWilliams from Keefton Engineering, and I'm on behalf of the client who's out of town right now. In regards to the North Oakland Woods preliminary site plan, we're just seeking approval for that. I think you probably already looked at the two letters from the planner and the engineer, so there's some issues we have to work out.
And the fire chief, and the police.
Pardon me?
And
Yeah,
the fire chief,
right.
and the police.
Exactly. So all those items would obviously be addressed, for a final site plan. But I guess I just,
Is there any
I'm open
questions?
here for questions if you have anything on it.
Is there any questions on this development?
I'd like to bring up that issue that gentleman gave us the email on, if that's got merit or not.
I could read it into the record, I guess.
I'm just trying to, I've read it and I'm not sure if the applicability.
I'll read it into the record. Dear sirs, my name is Jeff Helland. I live at 1375 Bar Road, Oxford, Michigan. I'd like to address the preliminary site plan for the North Oakland Woods condominium development. The plan proposes the construction of a new road. This new road would presumably connect with Bar Road. Bar Road is a winding dirt road with speed limit of 55 miles per hour. Bar Road is very narrow, so narrow that school buses are no longer permitted to travel it. Creating an intersection on Bar Road will result in the following: an increase in traffic on a road where cars regularly stop to let others pass. Create a cut-through from Shepherd's Lane to Bar, elevating the traffic flow through the proposed new development, potentially devaluing the homes near the new intersection. This new intersection will create traffic and pedestrian safety issue. At the end of my driveway heading north and downhill on Bar Road is a traffic warning sign for an S-curve. Holy smokes. At the bottom of the hill are two curve safety signs. On the first S-curve, the new road would intersect Bar on the first curve near the two curve safety signs. This is not a safe location for an intersection. Should a property owner have the right to develop and improve the value of his or her property? Should a property owner have the right to develop and improve the value of his or her property? Yes, but improving one's property should not come at the price of devaluing others. It should not come at the price of increasing the safety risk of the existing community. This scenario can be turned into a win-win for the greater community by having the new road end at a cul-de-sac rather than intersect with Bar. Most owners of new homes would rather live in a cul-de-sac than an intersection. Most homeowners would prefer to live in a subdivision that has minimal traffic rather than on a cut-through. A cul-de-sac might allow for the development of additional home or two in the North Oakland Woods. The value of safety issue avoided is hard to quantify. An accident or injury that did not occur is value enough. So what I'm requesting is the Oxford Township Board to consider, before you approve the plan that would forever increase the traffic flow negatively after the rural setting and increase the safety risk for our shared community, please determine what would it take, and if it's possible to end the proposed new road at North Oakland Woods in a cul-de-sac. Has anyone on the board examined the setting on Bar Road that I have described? If not, please see for yourselves. What purpose is served by creating this intersection on Bar Road? Thank you for taking the time to consider my request. Please extend to me the courtesy of a response on this topic as a concern of mine and my neighbors. Sincerely, Jeff Helland. I got it all. So it's written in the record. Is there any questions for this?
Is the chief in favor of that? Well, I talked to Brian Ottman today, and he'd say probably defer to the chief in terms of making that a cul-de-sac versus a road, whether it be safe or not.
I'll call on you back there, sir. I will call on you.
As far as the access going out to Bar Road, I am in favor of that. Definitely with a project like that, we need two ways in and out, as far as having. I mean, we're talking the entire development's what, 30?
It's 90 acres.
26 lots is basically the amount of homes, so traffic-wise is not going to be that exorbitant going through for 26 homes, and cut through traffic out there would be extremely minimal. The one concern I do have that we need to go on record to make sure, they installed a dry hydrant for us out there when they put the street in on Shepherd's Lane was constructed about 2 years ago. It worked well when it was installed. Last year it worked well. We've been out there twice this year to draft from it, to test it, to make sure it's going, and we can't draw from it at all. It's so much full of weeds and stuff coming into there, so I have no water. So going forward, I have to have that dry hydrant has to be fully operational, and if not, then I have to have a well on site to be able to provide water source to us.
Chief, is there maybe an engineering way to improve this by either lowering it, because from what I hear, it's very close to the surface?
It's underwater by about at least 3 to 4 feet, but it needs to have the weeds and stuff cleaned out from around it, and so it'd have a little bit of dredging is what it would take in the lake.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but
Okay.
part of the motion is, number one, the developer did promise and state in our motion from the planning commission that they will make that hydrant operable, and an additional dry hydrant will be installed between lots 16 and 17. So part of their conditions for approval was the fact that these 2 hydrants will be meeting the chief's standards.
Right.
Let's say they go bad again, then who repairs them?
Just like any hydrant that he can't draw from, he tests. How often do you test the hydrants?
We go out to all of them. We're out there probably at least
Twice a
times a
year?
year on all of them.
Yeah, so when they're deemed bad, he has to notify the owners and make it right.
So after these developers are gone, somebody else would have to make that right, not us?
I believe they will have a homeowners association,
Okay, they have to make that right.
and it would be up to the association's responsibility.
As part of our preliminary at the conditional at the planning commission was an additional hydrant would be installed and the current one would be made functional.
Right, so I want to make sure we got that into the record, that there is a concern right now with what is existing.
Yes.
Any other questions, sir, back there?
My name is Gil Sorolnik. We live at 1449 White Hawk. We're at the top of the hill. Okay? When we exit,
When you say the top of the hill, is it south of the proposed, it's south
yes, we're south
of
of
the proposed drive?
the proposed
Okay.
exit. Would you tell me again what the speed limit is on Bar Road?
It's 55.
I'd be afraid to try that.
I
Visibility.
will say that I tried 55 on this road right out here, coming south on the straightaway, and I felt like I was at Cedar Point. It was scary.
So what I'm getting to is, when we come out on White Hawk to Bar Road to turn left or right, you have about a visibility of 50 feet both directions, because we are at the peak. And between the trees and the bushes, by the time you stick your head out there, if somebody is going over 30 miles an hour, you're going to have an accident. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I come out there and I'm listening for engine noise, because you cannot tell if somebody is coming, especially at 55 miles an hour. So my request,
I want to see somebody drive 55 on Bar Road. I grew up
would
just
too.
down the street.
and it's got an S curve, just north of where
And
we're
this
at.
too.
Right, and
It's got it all.
it's got it all. So is it possible that during this construction, that the township could reduce the speed limit?
I will answer that for you. We have no control over the speed limit on roads. That is controlled by the state police. What happens is if they want to change it, I have to call the road commission. They get a hold of the state police, they go out and do a survey. And they've got an 80 percentile, some formula that they make the decision on what that is, and it's final. But that's how the township does not own a road.
Okay.
We have no control over roads.
Can I initiate a request?
You can do that through me.
Fine,
I'll do it for you.
okay,
I will call traffic safety at the road commission and ask for
Right.
a survey to be done.
because right now, we have minimal traffic through Bar Road. Once how many, yeah, but how many homes?
Well, there's 26 homes. There'd be 26 homes.
26, okay. That almost doubles or triples. I live in a subdivision that has 6 homes. And then there's 3 more homes down the street. So we don't have a great deal of subdivisions, and it may not sound much, but I can just imagine coming out on Bar Road with the additional population and crossing my fingers. Okay, so it's just a request. That's all I have to say.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
And if you would get a hold of me sometime during the day, I will make that call for you and put in the request.
Sure. Be happy to.
Bill?
Yes.
I just wanted to mention a couple things so you understand too. If we had the connection there, which is what, is needed for the fire protection and such, like you said, we have to deal with the road commission. And even though everyone knows it's not practical to drive that speed limit, the road commission still requires us to meet the standards as if someone could drive that speed limit, which means we have to be able to see a certain sight distance each way based on 55 miles an hour. And, it's obviously going to be difficult, but possible to attain it we have to go through all those hoops with the road commission. So I just wanted to mention that even though all the curves are there and everything, we have to be able to see a proper sight distance each way, which is one of the things you were mentioning. And I did walk it in the past, and so I see what the challenges are. But just wanted to reassure everybody, it's not like we're going to go out there and only be able to see 50 feet. We're going to have to be able to see the proper sight distance, and the road commission is going to be all over us about that, so.
Is there, I'm going to ask, hey, Chief? Would it be possible to put a breakaway gate on Bar Road? But what a breakaway gate limits the people coming in and out, and the only ones that'll probably come through there is during an emergency, and it'll be a fire truck taking out the gate, or people, if they have to get out of there, have a way. So is it possible to have a breakaway gate?
It would be a gate with a lock, but the big issue is it has to be maintained all winter. Normally, once the snow gets piled up, they plow at the end of the street and they stop the snow plow.
Yeah.
By the end of this winter, I've got a 5-6 foot pile of snow in front of the gate that would got to be maintained just as the rest of the road.
Is the one on Indian Lake Road maintained?
Lakes of it.
By,
Oxford, Hills of Oxford? Okay. I'm just trying to throw out options. Would you consider that?
I'm sure we would. I would think too, most people, because of what was mentioned about Bar Road, most people would want to go the other way anyway. They wouldn't want to go to Bar Road.
But, if they knew that up front, that, they're going to have they have an option to either buy or not buy.
Right.
I think the land itself is beautiful. I like the size of the lots. It fits in with everybody around there. Again, I grew up in that area, only the Orion side. But if you could consider maybe doing that, because Bar Road is dangerous.
I would think we'd have some issues probably to go through with the road commission about that, probably too, wouldn't we?
Why?
I'm not sure. I mean, I know we'll have to design it as if it's open. Yeah, but even though, I don't know, I just think that, I guess as long as it's not in their right of way. As long as we place the breakaway gate outside of the right of way, then, and we make sure we'd have to provide, obviously, like he mentioned, the snow removal all year on both sides.
Well, then, you know what, we can have a maintenance agreement with all the property owners through their association,
Right.
that they will maintain that, and if they don't, I'll send the fire department in there and send them a bill.
I would think most people would like the idea of that, because it would be, in effect, a cul-de-sac.
With a breakaway gate.
Yes, I mean, they would have the security of a fire truck being able to come through if it needed to, but other than that, they wouldn't.
Now, would you need permission of the the owner of the property to make this change?
I will probably need to discuss it with them, yeah, definitely, we'll talk about it, but I don't think that's a big issue. I mean, it's not gonna change the design of the lot layout or anything like that. It's simply whether or not. the breakaway-
Chief, would you be okay with that? If that happened that way?
It's a regular road that's all the way out there.
It's a regular road all the way out to Bar Road, but it's going to have a fence that if you have to get through there, you got big trucks, you just go bloom.
I'm sure
but
you
it-
have a certain standard that you want. Okay. I would think that he'd be open to.
Would that be all right for the folks back there? Yes.
We are redesigning a preliminarily approved site plan at this township board meeting. I don't know the protocol, but you would probably have to reject this approval. He'll have to go back and design the gate, and then we will have to have another preliminary site plan approval with the gate. That's what I'm thinking.
Or can we okay the plan with the design gate
I'm asking that.
conditionally?
I don't, we could put it in a condition,
But is a condition of our approval that the engineer design and install a breakaway gate?
I would think you want more dialogue going on between the parties before you put that in a motion.
Can you wait another month?
I mean, I'd approve this, and then if it goes for final.
I know he'd like to keep moving on the project, so I don't think I'd want to wait.
Okay, we can
Yeah.
keep moving on the preliminary, but
Then I can have dialogue.
Jack, you're the liaison between there and the planning commission, so he can follow up on that.
Sure. Okay.
Is that good with the folks back there?
Yep, I just wanted to make clear.
Work in
the
progress.
Protocol.
I move to approve the preliminary site plan for the North Oakland Woods site, condominium parcel number P 0436-200-028, 0420, 200-030, 0436-200-030, 0436-200-031, and 0436-200-032, zone SF1 Suburban Farms. Applicant North Oakland Woods Development LLC, 1240 Shepherd Lane, Oxford, Michigan, 43371. This approval is based on the following conditions.
A little late, but
Any unresolved issues related to the Township Planners Review Letter dated April 27th, 2016, including the CBA approval for 2 variances noted in the review. 2, any unresolved issues related to the Township Engineers Review Letter dated April 20th, 2016. And 3, any unresolved issues related to the Fire Department's Review Letter dated April 18th, 2016. Also ensure dry hydrant is operable to the Fire Chief's recommendation. An additional dry hydrant shall be installed between lots 16 or 17.
Second for discussion.
moved and seconded. Do you have the discussion, Jack?
Yeah, I will make sure that we take back to when applicant comes for final site plan approval, that gate's on there and the planning commission members realize that it was recommended at the township board that we have the lock box and/or lock gate, breakaway gate for the fire department.
Okay. We have voted, haven't
We have not.
we? Roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Bellairs.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dare.
Yes.
And Trustee Credit.
Yes.
Okay, guys, we're moving on.
Thank you very much.
Water rate increase, that's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Jack?
The Oakland County Water Resources Commission, WRC, is recommending that the Oxford Township increase the water usage charge from $1 to $1.30 per 100 cubic feet after the base charge for 1,500 cubic feet of water usage has been attained. We got a letter from the WRC, and we talked about this in the Water and Sewer Committee meeting, and we had the following recommendation. And it was to recommend to the Oxford Township Board that the water usage charge be increased from $1 to $1.30 for each additional 100 cubic feet of water usage over the allowed minimum 1,500 cubic feet. This rate increase will be effective beginning January 1st.
July 1st.
July 1st, 2016.
Who would this affect the most, or anybody?
Anybody that uses water.
Anybody uses over their base amount of 1,500 cubic feet?
Is that a lot of people? I mean, did you guys?
I don't know.
Okay.
We
the county
we-
provided
we
just
don't-
answering.
Yeah, we don't know.
But we're passing along the rate increase that's being passed along to us.
And then Curtis or somebody let them know to implement this July 1?
Sure.
I have one question. If we know that they're gonna use over the 1,500, then we must know what they're using now. What does the average house use in water? Because we're gonna be able to monitor that in.
Monitor it, it's metered.
So
It'll show up on their bill.
nobody would know what the average, what this is really gonna mean to the homeowner.
It means that we're going to match the increase that's passed on to us.
Yeah, I'm just wondering.
I'll make a motion that the water usage charge be increased from $1 to $1.30 for each additional 100 cubic feet of water usage over the allowed minimum 1,500 cubic feet. This rate increase be effective July 1st, 2016.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Bellairs.
Yes.
Trustee Kretterman.
Yes.
And Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Because you will call the county then and let them know.
Noted.
Beautiful.
Crossroads for Youth request to connect. I'm going to just talk on that just a little bit. Jack, we're supposed to meet with these people, is it next week?
I can tell you, I think it's.
So do we want to maybe set this aside?
You still got a meeting.
July 20th.
We are meeting with them
Tentative.
July 20th, and we will be discussing the connections and the route of the new water line, and
I would just hate to do an open session, what we haven't even talked to them about.
correct.
I'll make a motion to defer item 9D to we have it ready by August, you think?
Oh, yeah.
But Curtis, with August 10th, our next meeting?
Yes.
The August 10th, 2016 Township Board meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Regional Transit Authority millage proposal. Clerk Wright.
Yes, board members, you're probably well aware by now that the Regional Transit Authority of Southeast Michigan is proposing a 1.2 mil 20-year millage proposal to be on the ballot for transportation services. And the communities in northern Oakland County are going to see minimal value from this proposal. So a resolution is on the table for you to approve to oppose this millage from going through. Just to give you an idea, here's a map. If I can get it up here. This shows the area, if I can blow it up a little more here, that the region is going to be affecting. And as you see, as you go up, this is Woodward right here. As far as this corridor goes, is up to Pontiac. So if this millage passes, your benefit would be driving to Pontiac to use the route. It heads to the northeast up to Mount Clemens, to the west of Ann Arbor, right there, and then out in the northwest suburbs. So that's the proposal on the table to vote to deny this.
No, vote to put up the resolution, to approve the
All
resolution.
right, a resolution to deny.
Anybody want to try yes.
I agree with a lot of what's being said, but the more I thought about this, the concept I don't think is a bad concept. I just don't think it should be funded by property taxes. There's a lot of private grants out there, different developments. Those are the ones that should be paying it. We keep putting all these burdens on the taxpayers. We got the DIA, we've got the zoo. Now we're adding this. I mean, you keep putting more burdens. What's going to be happening is that when we ask for local millages, like we have a $250,000 coming up for Parks and Rec in November, we're going to be competing with ourselves. Because we let these millages go on, and then our millage goes on, people might look at it and go, well, I don't like either one. And the one that's at the Parks and Rec millage, us for November, actually benefits us directly. And with the resolution, I favor the resolution, except I like to have some type of a clause in there that if it were to pass, because I'm afraid what they're looking at is South Oakland and Wayne carrying this election, that they would at least rebate 50% back to us to fund NODA. So at least we get some value out of the money. That's my concern with that. I'm sure it's not going to make a difference.
No.
But still, it's like,
Hill of beans.
well, this whole resolution is not going to make a difference. I mean, if people pass it, it's going to pass.
Okay, I'm going to try this out myself here. I move to approve the resolution in opposition to taxing local governments / residents for the Regional Transportation Authority millage proposed for the November 8th, 2016 general election as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Questions?
You don't have to
Jack?
put in the 50%.
Yeah, what I'd like to see is, I know Addison Township just did one of these resolutions. With our resolutions, we ought to forward this to this Regional Transportation Authority Board and let them know that these northern Oakland County communities are non-beneficial. It means nothing to us. And with our support stating that there's 20,000 people in Oxford, 7,000 in Addison, we're not for this millage.
Jack, I will tell you, Orion Township, I believe, is going to be passing it. Independence Township, Brandon Township. So a lot of them are,
We should get together and
we already have.
set a letter up and say, we're got resolutions and we're not doing it.
My issue is I don't understand why it has to be a property tax issue. If this is a good idea, I'm sure people that are against it don't have a problem with the idea. It's putting it on the tax bill. You've got foundations, you've got other grants out there, let them pay for it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Items removed, nothing. Public comment, any public comment?
Yes.
Yes,
That's okay.
please state your name.
My name is Joanne Edmonds, and I'm here as a private resident in the community, although I do work at the fire department. I was lucky enough to attend the Seymour celebration here at Seymour Lake Park this past weekend, and I just wanted to give a great job done to Ron Davis and his team at the Parks and Rec. It was a great event and great for the community, so thank you.
Can I add to that, to thank the fire department, they were out there, and also the sheriff department, and a lot of volunteers. It was a great community event. Thank you. Board comment, starting with Buck.
No comment.
Eddie? Curtis?
Yes, primary election is August 2nd, so get out and vote.
Anybody that would like to put a sign in my yard, they're more than welcome. Just to hell with it.
I don't have any comments.
No comment.
Jack?
I have one comment from the Water and Sewer Committee. Based on construction costs, based on planning, based on some developments, and based on doing the right thing in the community, it was recommended that the water main to Lake Villa Mobile Home Park, the Water and Sewer Committee is recommending that we consider possible construction in the spring versus disruption of the school year in the fall. And a lot of the local contractors are so busy, they are bidding jobs at very high prices. We're getting everything in order, we're ready to go, but we're finding these roadblocks, and we're recommending that we hold off until the spring to do the construction.
We can justify our doing this. I mean, we've done everything as quickly as we possibly can, but it's a big project now that we've got possibly Crossroads for Youth being part of that.
Would our wells hold out till then?
They've held out so far. Will the DEQ hold out that long? They're on their backs. But as long as we're showing progress, I think we're fine.
With that, I'm completed.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Moved
Second.
and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries.
I slipped.
Well,